Good morning and welcome to this beautiful space. If you watched my first video that I recorded yesterday, you'll be familiar with that term space. Good morning, good morning. It is morning. The space has decided space and myself have decided to come forward again on YouTube. I'm thinking that I'm going to probably do 30 days consistently back to back of YouTube. So post every 30 days and we'll see what happens. So today I really feel called to share some space with you, share some sacred space, dip into that space together, and to also tell you more about my my journey, the personal journey, shall we say. So I think how it'd be nice to start is to invite you to come into your body. I've just saged you. So we're good to go. I'm just inviting you to sit into your seat, and this is not going to be a long one, so don't worry if you're not used to sitting. It's okay. It's going to be short and sweet, just to dip your toes in, okay? Stay with me. Okay. So just sitting in your seat and just taking a few deep breaths here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. A longer exhale, and the exhale is always good to drop you into the body. And relax the body and mind. So just coming in now to the space that is yourself. The space that is the truest, highest, most authentic place we can come to. It is the space of life itself. It is the space that we share. We share this space. This space is not separate. It is, in fact, the universal space. That we all reside. The person, the idea of the person. It arises in the space. space, being your truest self, our truest nature. The root, the core, can you see the space? Can you witness the space? Are you the space? Not the personal you, but you that we are. The space. The space that is in everything and yet encompasses everything in it. See that the person, the identity, sits within the space. It sits within the space. And the person, the identity that sits within the space, this person, it changes. It changes beliefs, it changes ideas, it changes day to day, how it comes across in the world. It changes. But the space itself, the space that you are, the space that we all are, divine truth, it does not change. It is peace. It is contentment. It just is. And there is nothing to do here. The space already has everything it needs. For how can a space need anything at all? It is perfect. It is untouched. And it never floats away. It always remains here. Taking a few deep breaths in. Now, feeling your body, feeling the body. It's okay to be in the body. It's okay for the body to be witnessed and noticed. It's okay to feel the sense of the body. You're not trapped within the body, but the body is merely a physical boundary in the 3D plane in which the space wants to be perceived that it exists within. It's okay to love your body. It's okay to be. It's okay to be the person sitting within the space. And it's okay to be the space too. You are it all. And there is nothing separate from you. Okay. Coming back into this room where you are. Opening the eyes if they were closed. And returning. Even though there was nowhere to return to. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well done if you are still following this. Congratulations. So, let's talk about the journey. What's your journey been like? What's your personal journey look like? The person that has arisen in the space of life. What's your journey look like? It's a funny trip, the human existence. I found this out 4 years ago when I was like catapulted into my beingness, the space. I was catapulted into this space that we are, into the pure isness that we are. And in this space, I saw that I was not who I thought I was. Believing that you are the person, sitting in the space, not even knowing that there is space, but just being the person, the identity. This is a real draining experience of life. When I just believed that I was the person, the identity, the physical body, the mind thoughts, the separate being on its own, a separate entity in the middle of everything else, or on the edge of everything else as well. But that separateness, it's not a nice existence, because it's not the truth of who we are. And see, when I was in that place, and I'm sure you can relate to this, but when I was in that place of just believing I was the body, just believing I was the mind, just believing I was the identity, there was deep sadness and deep longing. Deep sadness and longing for love, for connection, for truth. Just feeling in complete lack, really. I think is the best way to describe it. This idea that life is unfair, this victim. Yeah. These are all of the things that come up when we live in that space of identity and person, but without realizing that the space is actually what we are. So yes, 4 years ago I was catapulted into the space, and the light shone. I saw how there was, if I can explain it like this, there was many sensations, many emotions, many feelings, many bodily experiences, sensations, emotions, everything else that arose in the body field, in the mind field, in the sensations field. Lots would arose in this realization. So some might call it a state of ecstasy. Some might call it a state of ecstasy. Because essentially, this realization, if you imagine, when the way I like to describe it is, if you go to sleep at night and you lay down on your pillow and you put your arm underneath you in a funny way, and your arm goes numb, right? And you've been laying on it for, I don't know, maybe a few hours, and it's gone numb, and you wake up in the night or in the morning and you move your arm and it's numb, it feels numb. It's a sensation, so the numbing is also a sensation, but ignore that for now. But the numbingness is a sensation, but you can't really feel it as normally you could. And then what happens is you start to feel those pins and needles, those tingly feelings. Now, why is this? Well, we start to feel the tingling sensation, and it's quite, especially when your arm's gone very numb. So this is the lack of blood in the arm, which is why the numbing sensation. But when the blood starts coming back, right, we feel all those sensations in the arm, right? And it's because, yes, the blood is coming back, but there hasn't been any blood in there. There hasn't been any blood. The blood has been restricted, and now it's able to flow, right? It's been restricted, it's in some way, and now it's able to flow. And it feels like a flooding sensation, a tingling, a flooding, a pretty overpowering feeling, right? Now, this is exactly what spiritual awakening and what I'm talking about happened to me 4 years ago can feel like, right? Because in a sense, when we believe that we're the identity, we are numb, right? There is a numbness there, because there is the truth of who we are that's not being remembered, not being accessed, not being seen, not being felt, right? So it is essentially like that. What happens is when we start to see the space, and this doesn't happen for everybody. It doesn't happen for everybody. It depends how identified with the body and the mind that you have been in your life, how spiritually depleted you've been, really, and just basically how much you're supposed to see in your awakening. I don't know, but essentially what happened to me is I was numb. I was identified with my body and my mind, and I was spiritually numb, right? I was spiritually unaware. So when I see the space, all of a sudden it's ecstasy. Why? Because essentially my attention is now going there, and it's like the blood coming back into the arm, right? And the thing is, when the blood comes back into the arm over time, you don't feel the sensation anymore. You don't feel that tingling sensation. Why? Because the blood's in the arm now, so it's working fine, right? But when you have your spiritual awakening, if this has happened to you, or if you hear about this, like when people say about these states of ecstasy, this is a temporary feeling. Why is it a temporary feeling? Because the blood is rushing back to the arm. The blood is rushing back to the space that you forgot that you were, that wasn't being witnessed, right? Now over time, like me now 4 years later, right, I still am aware that I am the space, okay? But because I've been functioning in that way, functioning in the space, and functioning with the person too, and integrating these, right? It works fine. There's a state of ecstasy, right? I may get feelings of ecstasy in certain situations and things like that, yes, because there's realizations happening all the time. There's things to be witnessed all the time, right? But it's not to that extent. See, the feeling, and what I'm trying to say here and help us realize, right, is the sensations, the feelings are not what's to be seeking, right? Because the sensations are merely just a secondary effect, a secondary symptom, right, of the awakening that's happening, right? So the sensations and things are not it. Like, they're not the thing. They're not the enlightenment, or they're not the space. I don't even like to use the word enlightenment per se, because it's the feeling that we have to go somewhere, but we don't have to go anywhere. We just have to come home. We just have to we're not going anywhere. We're just actually not going anywhere. It's a process of not going anywhere, ultimately, and that's the grand illusion of sort of the spiritual world, in a way. Okay. So yeah, just wanting to identify that really today, about the sensations, right? And like noticing sensations in the body, like, and how that comes about for us. So maybe that's something that you might want to do in the next few days, is just noticing the sensations in your body and just being aware of the sensations. Because when we start to witness the sensations, and actually not as much identify with them as truth or as ourself, it's important to make it's important to witness them from a non-judgmental space, from a space of just allowing these things to arise and noticing. There's nothing to change, there's nothing to do. We just must notice what's arising for us. And it's really as simple as that. Yeah. I think I'm going to stop this video now at 26 minutes. Short and sweet video. Yeah, please, if you find any of what I say fascinating, I will be talking more about my spiritual awakening journey in the next upcoming videos, and speaking with you in whatever way comes forward. As we know, different days the person wants to be is drawn to be and express in different ways, and this is okay. So allowing the space for that. Whatever will arise tomorrow will arise tomorrow. There is no structure, right? There is no, this is what I need to do. But I do have the idea of sharing, and the word has gone out of my human mind. The intention of sharing more about my journey. And I have the intention of also doing more inquiry with you. So when I talk about inquiry, compassionate inquiry, I'm talking about coming to the space and inquiring about what's arising for us. Yeah, what's arising for us, and how we can be compassionate to all those things that arise, because this is important. This is the most fundamental important part, is being compassionate to whatever arises. And I'll talk more about that, because it's absolutely fundamental. It really, really is. So I'm sending you all my love and blessings on your day today, and hoping that you have a blessed day. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And see you back here tomorrow. Much love.